know that I have reviewed every single DC animated movie up to this point, except for this one. And it wasn't only because I knew of the sequel that was coming around, but it was also because I just didn't want to bother, especially after how Gotham Knight was absolutely terrible. It's DC trying to make an anime movie. And it's just as botched and terrible as you think it sounds, because oh man, this movie is an absolute mess. Sorry, I almost said episode because I just did a rant on Miraculous. Please excuse me, but yeah, I've been putting this off for a long time because I've had no confidence in it. It looked bad every single time I saw it, and I just didn't want to bother. That's why That's why when I did DC Lie, I skipped over it. But now that the sequel is out on digital and it comes out on physical tomorrow, I have no more excuses. So, I finally took the time to watch this thing. And yeah, it sucked just as hard as I thought it was going to. And it makes me thankful that I put it off for this long. Because had I seen this in 2017 when it originally came out, it would have made the worst list. Yes, this movie sucks that bad and we're going to talk about it. Now, is it like the worst thing DC has ever done? No, they've done far worse things. I mean, the terrible Injustice movie exists. Need I say more? But point is, this is still terrible. And I know it has its fans and there are people that enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, that's fine. I respect your opinion and I'm glad you can enjoy something that I just can't. So, without further ado, let's tear this thing apart. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, your number one source for anything and everything animation, including TV and movies. I'm your host, Jackson Small. Welcome to a DC Animated Universe movie review. The first one since July of 2024. Let's talk about Batman Ninja and why it is a terrible piece of crap. Now, look. I don't think that just because it went in an anime direction, that means it's automatically bad. Far from it, no. In fact, I actually quite like the idea of DC trying to branch over into the anime subgenre of animation. It's an interesting concept, and it can be done well. Problem is, every time they do it, they fail at it constantly. So far, the only anime-related thing that they've actually done right is Catwoman Hunted, which, I mean, you can barely even call that an anime. It's more like a Western animated movie using an anime-inspired animation style. Yeah, that's a mouthful. And Suicide Squad Isekai, which I promise I will review because that show is freaking awesome. That show is so much fun. I'm so excited to talk about it sometime. So, after suffering through the abysmal, terrible trash of Batman Gotham Knight, I didn't even want to touch this thing. But now that there is a sequel, I have no excuses. And now that I've finally seen it, yeah, this is one of the weirdest and also most terrible things I think I've ever seen come out of the Cape Crusader. Yes, Batman and Robin included. So, I have a pretty decent written review for this one that pretty much sums up all my thoughts and why I think this movie's trash. So, yep, here's my review. I hope you enjoy. Please understand it's nothing more than my own opinion. If you like this movie, good for you. Here we go. This is one of the weirdest Batman movies I have ever watched. I've been putting it off because I just didn't have much confidence in it, but with the sequel now on the horizon and having reviewed every other animated DC movie to date in my DC Live marathons, I have run out of excuses. But to be honest, even after watching it, I still have no clue what to say. Sure, the concept, on paper, is pretty cool, with Batman and company getting sent to feudal Japan, and them having to learn the ways of samurais and ninjas. Like, that sounds pretty freaking cool when you put it in that context. The action having plenty of energy and impressive choreography, I will give this movie this. The action in this movie is pretty good. Like, you have a lot of dynamic camera angles, you have it really leaning into its full anime aesthetic, and the final battle with Batman and Joker is pretty damn good. Like, that whole thing, the action, That was really good. That I will give a pass to. Some neat new designs for the characters and embracing its inner Gundam with plenty of giant robots. Specifically towards the end, you get a lot of giant robots. And no, it's not a spoiler because that was literally in the trailer of this movie. Yes, I looked that up. And it does have a solid cast with Roger Craig Smith, Tara Strong, Yuri Lowenthal, Tom Kenny, and Eric Bauza, to name a few. Yeah, if you can't tell, that's a lot of legendary voice actors in there. Roger Craig Smith, Sonic the Hedgehog, of course. How can we forget him? Tara Strong, Harley Quinn, her most iconic role next to, I don't know, Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. Yuri Lowenthal, Insomniac Spider-Man. Tom Kenny, SpongeBob. And Eric Bauza, the man who's literally voicing every single Looney Tune in the known universe right now, outside of Lola Bunny. But in execution, it seriously falls flat on its own blade. Story is horrible and full of holes. Like, the whole story is supposed to be Batman gains sent to feudal Japan to fight Joker. Problem is, the movie tries to go a completely different direction after he actually gets to feudal Japan, and it doesn't work, and it feels forced, like two movies jammed together. And then when Joker actually does come back, it is the most half-assed twist I've seen in a while from DC. And there are so many freaking plot holes, I don't even know where to start there. The writing is terrible. This movie's script, it boggles the mind how bad it is. The dialogue is clumsy. Like, absolutely clumsy. It's clumsy, it's poorly written, and the voice acting doesn't really do much to save it. The English dub, despite the talented cast, is very mediocre. Like, with a cast like this, I expected a way better English dub of this movie than what I got. Yes, I watched the English dub because that's my way of watching anime and deal with it. But despite its talented cast, I don't like this dub at all. It feels flat, it feels poorly handled, and because of the bad script, the actors are given nothing to do with. Pathetic. Pacing is too slow. This movie's so slow, dude. It is so freaking slow. Like, the first few minutes are fast, and then it just grinds to a freaking halt. It's so bad. Characters are flat. These are some of the worst versions of these characters I've ever seen. And the 3D animation is bad, with abysmal lip syncing and blatant cheapness. You can tell this movie's made on a shoestring budget. Like, this is no actual proper anime movie. You can tell this movie's being made as cheap as possible. And the 3D CGI, it's bad. It's not terrible. I've seen worse, but it's still bad. Like, it doesn't work. It makes all the characters look more flat than they should. And even when it throws in some nice 2D animation trying to replicate a watercolor painting, it still feels cheap, and the motion and fluidity is still completely off. Now, the out-of-sync lip-syncing I can kind of get, because this is an English dub and this is being lip-synced to Japanese audio. I get that, but come on. I've seen dubs that can do this in their sleep. Come on, man. It can't be that hard. Villains are boring. This is one of the worst versions of the Joker I've ever seen. Cool design or not, his character has almost absolutely nothing. Same goes for Harley. She's just a plot device, pretty much. Runtime is obnoxious. The movie is an hour and 25 minutes. That may not sound bad, but when you add on that very slow, stagnant pacing, it quickly turns into a damn chore. Rewatchability is low. I can never see myself rewatching this again. Unless, I don't know, I become a masochist and want to torture myself. And the final act is an absolute mess. Just like Gotham Knight, DC has once again failed at making a competent anime movie. Batman Ninja is a confusing, convoluted, long-winded, boring, poorly written, and badly animated mess that disgraces the name of the Caped Crusader more so than justifies it, and doesn't even justify its own existence at that. It has good ideas, sure, and no doubt their heart was probably in the right place, but the execution just slashed it all to shreds. Even as someone who loves both Batman and anime, I cannot recommend this snoozer. Skip it. I can't recommend this movie. I just can't. It has too many problems, it's too badly animated, the English dub is boring, and the writing's just too poor. I can't recommend this in good faith. I'm sorry. But if you've already seen it and you know that you like it, continue to like it. This is just one of those instances where it's not for me. And so, because of that, my final verdict for Batman Ninja is a 3 out of 10. In my opinion, this movie's terrible. One of the worst Batman movies I've ever seen, and a disgrace to the name of the Caped Crusader, and a disgrace to the medium of anime. Seriously, DC, stop trying to make anime movies. You suck at it. And that's it. That's all I've got. And now I gotta talk about the sequel, which is probably gonna be even worse. Oh, today's not a good day. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe if you want. I'm not gonna force you. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Excited for what comes up ahead.